Hello, I'm Viet Cường. Welcome to Thai Nguyen News. Now's the headlines for today. The Central Management Board of Building New Rural Areas worked in Thai Nguyen. More donations to Orange Agent victims in Thai Nguyen. Gloomy atmosphere on the motorcycle market in Thai Nguyen. Recently, the Central Management Board of Building New Rural Areas has worked in Thai Nguyen province.
In 2012, Thái Nguyên received 25.6 billion Vietnam dong from the Central Management Board to deliver to provincial localities to carry out the program of building new rural areas. In addition, 60 billion Vietnam dong of preferential capital was apportioned to solidify canals, set up rural roads, improve infrastructure of aquaculture and craft villages. During the meeting with the delegation, the Provincial Management Board hoped that the Central Management Board will reconsider some of the 19 criteria on assessing the progress of building new rural areas, which are unsuitable and difficult for Thái Nguyên to comply. On the same day, the delegation visited La Bằng Commune, Đại Từ District, to find out the real situations at the grassroots and encouraged local residents to actively take part in the program of building new rural areas right in their native lands.
On May 31st, the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development of Thai Nguyen Province held a meeting presided by Mr. Đặng Viet Thuần, Vice Chairman of Thai Nguyen People's Committee, and the members of the Steering Committee of the Provincial Agricultural Production to evaluate the results of the spring crop production and plan for crop production. According to Thai Nguyen Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, in spring crop 2012, the required targets have exceeded plan. Specifically, the yield capacity is estimated to reach 518,300 kilos per hectare, and rice production is estimated to reach about 157,000 tons. Some other fields, such as tea production, plant protection, husbandry and veterinary, fisheries, forestry, irrigation, dike management, flood control, production services are effectively implemented. To ensure the target for annual food production, the province is making effort to cultivate and transplant about 39,900 hectares of rice, with the estimated production of 200,000 tons, and 3,800 hectares of corn in the crop production 2012. At the meeting, Mr. Đặng Viet Thuần emphasized that all levels, departments, and farmers must focus on the prevention of diseases in cattle, poultry, and reinforce control in the markets to identify and handle violations in time. Also, the irrigation units have to work doubly hard in searching solutions to regulate water resources and ensure sufficient water supply for crop production. With the aim of protecting the interests of tea growers and improving the value of Tân Cương tea products, the Department of Science and Technology of Thai Nguyen Province has just held a scientific seminar to study current situations and suggest solutions in managing and monitoring the quality of tea with a geographical indication of Tân Cương. To date, there have been over 17,500 hectares of tea in Thái Nguyên Province, mainly concentrating in different districts such as Đại Từ, Phú Lương, Phổ Yên, and Thái Nguyên City. Far more importantly, Tân Cương tea has been considered the most famous quality product and has been granted protection degree and registration certificates for tea products in Tân Cương geographical indication by the National Bureau of Intellectual Property, including 3 communes, Phúc Xuân, Phúc Chiu, and Tân Cương, with over 4,800 hectares of tea production. At the workshop, the scientists and the representatives of tea growers agree that growing, processing, and consuming tea were done without proper control can lead to a reduction on the reputation and quality of tea products. The workshop also suggested solutions in managing, growing, carrying, processing, storing products, and advertising for the symbol of Tân Cương tea, aside from the suggestions related to raising awareness for tea growers, enterprises, and consumers about the value of Tân Cương geographical indications and reasonable solutions on the market to make Tân Cương tea a domestic and international favorite brand. On the afternoon of May 31st, Mr. Dương Ngọc Long, chairman of Thai Nguyen People's Committee, presided a meeting to assess the progress of investment projects in Núi Cốc Lake tourism area. The ceremony to announce the plans to build Núi Cốc Lake into a national tourism destination by 2020 and a promising vision by 2030 was held in June 2011 by Thai Nguyen People's Committee. During this ceremony, Thai Nguyen Province awarded 10 investment certificates of the first packages to various enterprises. According to the plans, Núi Cốc Lake tourism area will be set up with a total area of more than 1,000 hectares, a total investment capital of over 11,000 billion Vietnam dong. However, to date, most of the projects are behind and still in the progress of making detailed plans. During the meeting, investors showed obstacles and difficulties they met when carrying out the projects and sought effective solutions from provincial leaders and branches. In return, the chairman reminded involved branches and agencies about actively cooperating with the investors to finish necessary procedures, thereby solving potential problems in time and ensuring the progress of the projects. On June 1st, Thai Nguyen Association for Victims of Orange Agent, in cooperation with SVA Financial Group, gave supporting money to some hard-up victims of Orange Agent. Mr. Dương Ngọc Long, chairman of Thai Nguyen People's Committee, attended the awarding ceremony.
In recent years, together with many other enterprises and benefactors in Thái Nguyên province, SVA Financial Group has always responded and took part in many provincial humanitarian activities toward the less fortunate children, the poor and preferential people. In the period of 2009-2012, SVA Group donated more than 2 billion Vietnam dong to Asian-origin victims in Thái Nguyên. During the awarding ceremony, SVA offered 100 million Vietnam dong to build 4 houses and offered gifts worth more than 20 billion Vietnam dong to Asian-origin victims. Mr. Dương Ngọc Long, chairman of Thai Nguyen People's Committee, commended the elevated activities of SVA Group and hoped that SVA will continue doing these humanitarian activities in Thái Nguyên and in many other provinces nationwide.
Let's turn to the field of economy and markets. The consumer price index in May of Thai Nguyen province decreased by 0.03% in comparison with the previous month. This is the third month in this year that Thai Nguyen's CPI declines.
During the first 5 months of this year, Thai Nguyen's CPI continuously changed. In the last 2 months, it has been keeping decreasing. In April, it decreased by 0.09% and 0.03% in May. This was caused mostly by the deduction in purchasing power of the group of food production, which takes a high density in CPI. In recent time, the oil price has increased, which is responsible for the increase of the prices of many other products. Thereby, consumers always think twice before buying anything. The increase and decrease of CPI cause worries about inflation and deflation, so it is necessary to keep CPI stable to ensure the sustainable development of the provincial economy.
Since late 2011, due to the difficult economic situation and the consumer's low demand reaching saturation level, thus led to the gloomy atmosphere on the motorcycle market in Vietnam in general, and in Thai Nguyen in particular, with the sale dropping from 60 to 70% compared to the previous years. Since late 2011, the motorcycle market has shown signs of leveling off, but even more dramatic decline in the early months of 2012. According to the Morningstar Joint Stock Company, the main brand vehicles such as Honda and Yamaha sold about 60 to 70 units each month compared to the 200 on average in the previous years, so the revenue also declined accordingly. The sharp decrease in the motorcycle market is explained not only by economic difficulties and tightening expense of consumers, but also by the dramatic decline in demand while the supply is abundant. Therefore, despite the promotions, discounts, installments given by the dealers, the motorcycle market remains in a state of more sellers than buyers. According to the calculation by the Ministry of Industry and Trade, there will be about 33.5 million motorcycles and an average of 2.97 persons per vehicle in the country by 2020. Many enterprises specializing in motorcycle business in Thai Nguyen province are considering switching to some other lines of business in accordance with the market's demand, because motorcycle is no longer an attractive and highly profitable business item as before. That's the end of the program today. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.